Hi guys, welcome to Cube, and today I'll be walking you through a business analysis. So feel free to comment, or this is just my point of view and this is not a business recommendation. We're going to go through the investment research analysis, and then we will populate some sort of a report. So for today, mainly I'm going to use Google. So you have your browser ready, google.com, and then that is where you can get every single information that you want out there. So the company that I'm picking today is Shopify. So let's look at Shopify. Okay, so I'm having Shopify here. All right, so that's great. So let's have the website app open, and then I would like to have Shopify logo. Do you even know why I'm asking for the logo eventually? Because I will be using it to generate a report, and I will share the report over at the Facebook. Okay, so you can always get the report at the Facebook. So yep, I think this is a one, but yeah, let's take this. This is a modified version of the logo, so I think I'm going to take this. This is the original logo, and eventually you will know what I'm doing with where I have pasted it and so on. So don't worry, I'll definitely walk you through, and you don't need to think that something is happening in the background which you're not aware of it. It's nothing like that happening. Okay, all right. All right. So if you want to know what I was doing, yeah, basically I have a template here that I populated, to produce the report for reference purposes and also on and so we will use the template. I will post it in the Facebook page for you all to copy or follow on. So I'm taking this as a research or a study or a learning curve. Feel free to comment as I mentioned. Okay, Shopify. All right, great. So company name itself is Shopify. So let's look at the ticker code. What's the ticker code of Shopify? So you can put either stock stock code or ticker code, whichever so you see immediately you got the ticker code up. So Shopify is SHOP. Okay, good, nice. And now we're going to analyze a little bit on the company's uh, the economic aspect of the company. So for that, I'm going to introduce you to this website. This is one site which has almost all information there. Thanks to the generous generosity of the company to provide us such an extensive or beautiful site with all this information. Okay, so it's beautiful. So let's look at what Morningstar has to say about Shopify here. I'm going to copy some of the information so that we can use it later. Okay. So Shopify has almost about 7,000 employees. That's that's a big number of employees they have. So it's not a small company yet. It's a very big company. It's nice to know such a big company. And yeah, they have their. But surprisingly, it's .in. Is this .in? Okay, so perhaps uh, going by the local base. So yeah, and their contact address is in Canada. Website domain reflects .in. Right, that's funny. So yep, let's see. It's a technological sector. Great to know about that. And what are the other information we need? The software application. Yep, and it's a stock basically. Alright, I think that information is sufficient. We get a little bit on the company profile. And next thing, let's look at the competitors a little bit. Now let's look at who are their competitors. So it's Salesforce, Adobe, Wix. And the problem with looking at competitor, you can't just look at it directly like this, because the business that they are doing may not be exactly the same. Where is their revenue mainly coming? Like the CRM, it's a solution, it's a SaaS. No, they're software solutions. And Shopify, where is their income? Those kind of information, we will be looking at it in detail. So yes, let's look at their key ratio and look at the price. Shopify. So I want to have the full key ratio here. So guys, if you can't enter in as it's showing you, just create a free account. Just create a free account website. It's not being charged. So it's okay. So you don't have to worry about it. Okay, so definitely this is not an REIT. So we are going to evaluate a little bit details here, and the details we will be looking at several information like earning per share here. So we are to look at it. The earnings has been consistently negative up to 2019, and for our surprise, COVID actually made Shopify flourish. Somewhere end of 2019, it was the COVID time, and wow, that's beautiful. Well, these are timely business, means business according to the need. So, and the next let's see their free cash flow. It has been negative consistently, and poof, they are starting to make some good revenue here. And yep, it's a good details here. And then we are looking at book value per share. Look at this. Book value per share. Such an amazing numbers to see. It should be right. And they are not giving any dividends. Most of the tech companies do not provide dividends. So yeah, and look at their revenue has always been increasing. Gross margin is also increased. It's around the range. Operating income, it's becoming positive and growing wider. All right, what are the other information that we will be looking at? Here would be how is their debt. So for the debt, we look at financial health, and you scroll down here, you can look at the here the depth. So here the depth is 0.1, so which is good. It is lower. It's almost less than 50% of. So yep, seems to be very good. And we are looking at no dividends. The next thing we will look at is profitability. So let's look at return on equity. Just to show how efficient the company does. So guys, here we are looking at greater than 25%, which is a good thing. It indicates, thing, but yeah, how will it perform after COVID is something that I do not know neither to. But then let's evaluate about the company in terms of how the company is generally doing, in terms of economic wise. Okay, we'll saw the book per share here. So obviously it's kind of overvalued. We look at dividend, of course it's nothing, there's no dividend, it's zero. And then let's look at the growth aspect. There's no value because although this company exists longer than 5 years, but it has been negative EPS throughout, except for last year, and it's growing in terms of this year. So that's why it is still not reflecting as anything as growth or positive value here. Okay, so yep, those are the information in terms of some financial values that we are looking at. And I want to also check on the valuation details. Let's go into the valuation details and see. Right, let's look at the price over earning. So price over earning has been negative throughout the year. And I believe you know, the numbers is actually reflected accordingly. This we can still consider it as attack phase company. Because there's nothing much that we can take from here. And then let's look at the price for sales. Yeah, we have some numbers here. Maybe we can evaluate based on these numbers. Okay. Right. So price over sales. Let's look further. Before we go into the core element of evaluating Shopify's business itself. Okay, we saw the Shopify business, let's close this. Let's go here. Shopify business is an e-commerce platform, primarily catering to small and mid-sized businesses. And they have their own payment, they have their own shipping, and they have their own capital. And yeah, they are also integrated with social medias and Amazon and other uh, websites, stores, and kiosks, and so on. So it's basically an e-shop. It reflects on the name of it. So when we are evaluating price over sales here, and we see that 5 years value is 28.50, you can actually calculate the 5 years value. Either you can calculate it manually, or you can choose to take it as is. How do you calculate it is you add 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. 5 consecutive years data, and you divide by 5 to get this number. Okay, so but we can actually take as is the number, right? And if you see the current, it is bigger than the 5 years value. That reflects that it is overvalued. Okay, so some good data that we can look at is the lowest PS has been 10.58, followed by 11.54, this, and then we can say this, and followed by 31. So yeah, we can take 11.54 as the lowest number. And for the highest price over sales number, if we can see, the highest would be 56 here, followed by, yes, I can take the current 49, 31, and so on. So obviously the highest would be the last year's number, 56.01. So I can opt for the second number, which is second highest, which is this, because this is all-time high, this is all-time low, so I'm choosing one number before the low and one. So there's no right or wrong here. Okay, so what does it reflect? Well, in a way, it is still overvalued. Okay, there is no good price for you to enter in. Right, so that's Shopify. Good. And now I would like to further go into ROC. Okay, let's go to sec.government. and I move slightly low. Now we are moving to the next phase. Okay, we are moving to the next phase. So if you want to know where we are moving now, we are actually going into the economic of the company to analyze how is the company doing. Okay, what the company has and what the company do not have. So let's look at it. Go a little down. Let's get down. And they changed the website slightly. So let's look at it. Oh, alright. Company filings. Clicking on company filings. Okay. So I'm going to put shop here. Got it. I am looking for Form 10K. They would have had their annual report. Okay, let's search. We are looking for annual filing. Okay, yeah, this is the page that I wanted to come in. So what we are looking at here is last year. Then we are looking at annual reports. Yeah, so let's look at the annual report. Alright, this is one avenue. Another way is we can just go to the website. So it brings us to, or we can also search in this way, Shopify annual report. Alright, so it brings us to their investors page. Why do I want to go into investors page? Because I want to understand more. I was looking for Form 10K for Shopify and I do not want to waste your time. It should be there as you see. Alright. Perhaps I'll post a link for it. So yeah, you can also click here. But I'm going to go direct into their page. So this is investors.shopify.com. This page is special. This particular domain or portal is created specially for investors. All the information necessary for investors will be placed here. Let's look at what they have here, stock data and all that. So I also wanted to see the latest event, what's happening in right. So I'm opening it in a separate tab. SEC filing, yes, we want that information. Investors event, press release. No, I don't want that. If you have time, you can actually read further. Okay. So what does this latest event? Okay, they have their quarter 2 results out. It's already August, so quarter 2 you will get the results sometime either from mid July to um, end of August. That means mid August. So these are the range where the 6 month financial information of a company will be consolidated and then will be given to the people, right? So we can, okay, I would like to also look at it later. So I'm downloading it, right? So there are so their annual report. Of course, 2021 annual report we will have it. So I'm going to open this separately. I also want to see the MD&E. This is the management information. So I want to look at the latest release of information, and let's look at the management information circular. What have they circulated out? Okay, so yep, we got some good information here. And what other things that we want? So these are events. So if you have invested in a company, you want to follow through on what are the events that they have over there, and yeah, this are more of the company's press release announcement. Good, great. Okay, first thing first. So it's Form 40F. Okay, guys, don't ask me what's Form 40F. You know, I mean, I can come on back to your in a separate video in terms of what is the reference of each form, you know, whether it's 40, form 10K, what it means, form 6, and so on. Okay, alright, let's go here first, and then we start looking into further details. Okay. So these are filing information, annual reports, so on. Okay, let's go into the content, guys. What is of my interest is, let's look at the table of content. Of course, these are some informations, but what interests me is some of the initial document. So the advantage of Form 10K, it has a standard TOC or table of content that every company follows through that. So actually I can say that item 1 for all the Form 10K is the same. So this is Form 40F, slightly different, it doesn't matter, but the information should be there. What we are looking for should be there. So as a start, I want to know about the intangible asset that they have. So here I am going to go a little bit and read. So intangible asset. So let's look at what are the details that we have about intangible assets. So the company has goodwill. You see here. Okay. Okay, So what? Let's not go um, into general, but we go into detail. So yes, I want to know if they have patents. I want to know if they have trademarks, copyrights, or any intangible assets. So yes, they have intellectual properties. So this is in the initial page itself. So what is the intellectual property here? So yeah, they do. No. It's a vast fraction of what uh, they have here. So yes, they do have. Great. So I want to also understand what other copyrights they have. Okay. So we will probe in detail. So this shows that the company has a copyright. Now the company has intangible assets. Okay. So it's a good sign. It's really a good sign. Yeah, that's a good sign for the company itself. Next, we look at the network the company has, synergies. Let's look at if the company has any synergies. Okay. So this is more of acquisition, means they have combined or joined. So they have brought over, acquired. So R6RS, which adds value to the company. So this is a good information. Okay, so this these are some information we may use it in the later part. Okay, let's look at it. So right, those are for synergies, and let's look at merger. Okay, and I would like to say partner. This is something very useful, which we can come back uh, and apply it to understand better about the company. This is the future forward-looking information. For now, I wanted to see about partners. What are the partners that they have? So I can see um, a strong network effect here. You know, do you see here that Shopify partnered with the government of Canada, New York, and Victoria State in Australia for bringing thousands of small business online. This is a good thing that helps actually. Right, partner ecosystem. So look at the that number of partners. This is e-commerce system, so they need a lot of sellers out there. And you see how many sellers out there they have in this. So this has some good information actually. Really, really good information. Collaboration. Let's see if they are collaborated. And I see it's interesting. They are collaborated with a lot of the future technological spec. They included AR, they included robotics. You see, okay, this is nice. Let's uh, let's read a little bit. This relates. Why are they making a lot? How are they making a lot? Okay, see, Shopify also launched TikTok channel, so they have uh, merged their business with TikTok as well, where their merchants can market using TikTok. Isn't this also great? Okay, and they have uh, collaborated with Operation Hope to support. This is an NGO, so they do have CSR related work. And let's look at it. So they have their own payment gateways. So they partnership with Government of Canada, as I mentioned earlier, for Go Digital Canada. See, and they partner with the US, right? And they have their own studio. That's great. So they are integrated with Facebook to open up a channel, so the merchants can use Facebook, Instagram to also uh, do their sales. Shopify launched Walmart channel, sell their product on Walmart.com. Walmart, Walmart, it's a giant. So yeah, I believe that it is a very, very, very good information. We can see how serious is the business. Do you think a business that has integrated with so many giants out there. Will they go off from business in the next X number of years? No, it is going to go on. So yeah, like we saw, they are Canada and Australia, and then so they do have R&D, so trial of new robotic technological initiative. Oh, that's good. Alright, I am impressed with this company. So yeah, they are integrating a lot of industrial revolution 4.0 related information. Good, great. I would say great. So I believe Shopify AR. That's good. So technologically, they are keeping themselves updated. So this is a good information. Right. Another thing that I wanted to show, I wanted to also uh, relay this information to show you that, that this company, Shopify, let's look at the company profile. I'm not going anywhere else, but just looking at the company profile here. Okay. You see here, they have their own payment gateway, so their own shipping, their own capital, and to say they have their own warehouse as well. So Shopify is having a cost advantage. Why? Because they don't have to engage with other shipping agents because they have their own. So they have other collaboration of people who may want to invest or use or leverage their shop. Okay, so let's say now they also have Google Pay, and they gone into Instagram. So I see a lot of potential, here. So yep. So let's see, customer satisfaction. No, let's look. So theirs is, how do they call it? Whether they call it customer. So it's a subscription and merchant. Okay, let's see merchant. Drop in. Subscription. So a quick, we can just, okay, let's see. I think I just saw. All right. Look at this. Okay. As of December, they have this many. merchants, and this is page 20. So they have almost 1 million merchants. So subscription, let's look at. I actually want to also see their right. There's be a lot of information here actually, and it is interesting. It's interesting. They have their own email, their own payment gateways. You know, this is really, really um, have their own research. Great. So, how likely for you to move once you've already established? You know, let's see. Switching. What do they offer? You know, do they give any sort of how are they holding on to customers? And how hard is it to migrate? Migrate. So, Scout based. Okay. This is something that we have to Google out to see, if there is any switching cost involved when it comes to Shopify. You need to understand how the business works even further, right? And but then Shopify is not a niche market; it's the e-shop. We have many other e-shops out there like Amazon, even Facebook is already having their own e-shops and so on. So definitely, it is not a. It's not. So overall, I would say they have a very strong economic business mode. They have a very strong economic. I would also analyze further on the risk that the company has. So let's see if they have any regulatory. I want to also understand that well, it impacts a lot. Company that goes through regulation, you could be losing. So let's look at any impact through regulation. So yes, they are. They are affected by regulation, but Look at the amount of uh, laws that you have to comply when it comes to having an e-shop. This is impressive, right? Really, really impressive. Mm. Okay, yes, they do. Okay, let's see what other regulatory information we can get. Obviously, as it mentioned, the payment, anti-spam, data privacy, financial service that they're providing. All these are bounded by the law. They have to comply. A lot of information on that. Okay, so one good thing about inflation, the company may not have inflation much because okay, so when it is a shop, it's an e-commerce, there is less inflation impact here. Okay, so but I will not confirm it because I need to justify or I need to show you in terms of what is the evidence or the proof of information. So yep, guys, let's look at it. And science and tech, R and D. Man, I saw that they have R and D. See, they have R and D. They are constantly. We saw just now how much that they are constantly up to date in terms of uh, enhancing or making their platform and making uh, the users feel even better, or the users to to actually experience have a user experience. And I saw just now that there is lesser people risk. You see, the replacement of CFO. I don't think it has adverse or affected the company in any way. This is some evidence. Let's look at what other things has been. I am putting just keywords. It may not necessarily. Okay, let's look at what is this. Alright. Then we look at training. So they are training their merchants, giving a lot of uh, benefits. So let's look at it. So yeah, they have a lot of trainings for resource, and then let's look at resource manage, HR, okay, employee. So this is another perk. Employees, they have the infra. They already built the infra in such way that they are looking towards having all of their employees working remotely. Okay, what other employees? So they have retention programs for the employees. Alright, so guys, with that, it is prominent that the right, it's prominent that this company manages the risk well. To summarize, what I can summarize is Shopify has a lot of intangible assets or intellectual properties, and they have value for it, and then they have cost advantage where they can bring in more revenue to increase the margin because they have built uh, self-sustaining mechanism end to end, like payment, shipping, platforms, training, and so on. And they have a huge network with companies out there, with major social media platforms and other e-shops and outlets, as well as they have huge number of subscribers and merchants, millions of merchants. And then uh, they have a lot of training programs, and they have a lot of perks, a lot of retention programs, a lot of benefits for merchant, affiliation programs. With all this kind of program, it is definitely costly for one to switch from Shopify to another place. They would retain Shopify and they will open another platform. That could happen, but they will not close down Shopify and move to another one. Okay, and in terms of efficient skills, it is not a niche market, so yeah, we can't speak much about efficient skill here. So when we are going to the the risk part of Shopify, yes, they have a list of laws, a list of regulation that they have to follow. For now, they are following it and they are making sure that it's mitigated. It's also what we have observed in the annual report. And for an e-commerce, it is a universal platform, so inflation rate would be lower. And when we are looking at science and tech, yes, extensively, Shopify is doing research and growing their platform, covering into many aspects of the technology or the future technology like robotic, AR, and so on. When it comes to people risk, we have also observed that there are a number of key executives like CFO who has resigned and a new person came in place, but that did not affect. That shows that they have a good management or good organization structure. All right, and they are taking care of their employees well, in terms of the welfare of the employee, training, and so on. So overall, I would say this company has a lower risk modeling, a very strong economic. Nevertheless, the financial data is solid and strong only for 2 years, meaning to say last year and this year, but there are a lot of potential looking at this company. So, guys, I will put in my video description about Shopify in terms of where you can get my summary report of Shopify. I will put it in a PowerPoint report format and then give it to you guys. You can have it and enjoy. Do your own due diligence and then invest wisely. Never lose money. With that, thank you very much and for your investment price or the pricing strategy aspect, you can find it in the Facebook page. So, yeah, thank you and bye bye.